What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it. I know it has been a cool minute since I done hit y'all with content. I'm going to just keep it a buck with you, man. I just been hustling and grinding. Been out there just working, the real world calls and beckons. And, this is a passion for me. And I appreciate any and everyone who tunes in. But as of right now, hey, what's going on, Mom? As of right now, it's a slow season. I know the draft is tomorrow, but we have no first round pick. We have no second round pick due to the trades for Trey Lance and Christian McCaffrey. So we won't be picking to the third round. So honestly, for me, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to watch the draft if we ain't picking. Outside of trying to see what our opponents would be doing in division, i.e. the Cardinals, Rams, and the Sea Chickens. But either way, it is what it is. So with that being said, I figured I would do a draft show. And let's recap what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have done since they've been here. Who were the hits? Who were the misses? Which draft was actually one of the best? Which draft gave us some prospects? And which draft gave us some starters and some stars? So Lynch and Shanahan have been here since 2017. And we all know how I feel. As far as 2017 goes, you had the opportunity to be able to try and get yourself. What's going on, Gammon? Appreciate you, good brother. We had the opportunity to draft a quarterback. Kyle Shanahan said no, gave us a bridge quarterback in Brian Hoyer when he saw that didn't work and he was trying to wait on Kirk Cousins and that fell through. We wound up with Jimmy Garoppolo, who in 2017 gave us a lot of hope, ripped off a nice amount of wins toward the end of the season, gave us hope, wound up getting a big contract, and then in the second game of that season, the next season, he decided to be a running back, tried to turn and tore his ACL. So on and so forth. But there are just different things that have happened throughout the years. Draft is very, very hit or miss. It's hard to actually sit there and say to yourself, I'm going to draft this person and they're going to work out. I know they're going to work out. There are certain people that were drafted and certain people that were brought into this organization that the scouts that we had in place told our GM and coach, don't bring them in. They don't fit the system. And that's been throughout just the history of the Niners in general. Some people listen, some people don't. But kind of is what it is. So, first things first, 2017 draft. So, our first pick, Solomon Thomas. We can all agree that was a fail. Automatic. Solomon Thomas was basically one of those people I'm talking about. They told them, the scouts were like, look, dude could play, but he's not right for our system. And it never worked out. Solomon Thomas never became anyone in the NFL. Once again, remember when I say these things, people, it's no disrespect to the people themselves. I don't know them. From a personal standpoint, I'm just giving my opinion on whether they worked out in the NFL or they didn't. Fact is, Solomon Thomas did not work out. So that's a fail. The next pick, Reuben Foster. Well, we all know how that worked out. I'm just saying, the guy another fail. Reuben Foster did not pan out. He had his head up his ass. He was too busy concerned with his girlfriend. They were too busy concerned with doing what they were doing outside of football. So your first two picks, John, don't look good. It's all bad right now. Next pick, Ahkello Witherspoon. We all know how that worked out. Shout out to my guy, Mike from Nothing But Niners. Ahkello is his guy. He vouches for him. He fights for him. At the end of the day, Ahkello Witherspoon is a young man who has a ton of talent but has no idea how to get out of his own head. What's going on, Brandon? He has, no idea what to do when it comes down to getting out of his own head after having a bad interception or doing certain things. For me, I'm sorry. Ahkello Witherspoon, another fail. That's your first three picks in your draft there as a GM are all fails. And I can't say he was mishandled. I mean, I don't really know what wasn't going right for him. I just know for a fact from what I saw, he was the type of dude, he would have like that little streaky run where he was great, and then the next thing you know, he'll just fall off the face of the earth, or there'd be a touchdown that was made on him, and it just screwed his whole day up. So I feel like with the Keller Witherspoon, maybe for me it was a mental mental game. And yes, exactly what you're saying right there. Gavin said it best. He was either hot or cold, and it was too many times he was cold rather than hot. So unfortunately, it's another pick. Keller Witherspoon, straight up fail. So then you go ahead and you look at CJ Beathard. Another fail. I'm sorry. And that, honestly, that's not on John. That's on Kyle. Kyle was the one who I saw something in him. I thought CJ was great and all this other shit. So in this draft, I just want to put this in context for folks. In this draft in 2017, you had the option to draft a quarterback in the first round. You were so enamored with Kirk Cousins that you had it in your brain, Kyle, that you were going to get Kirk Cousins. You just knew it was going to happen. And because of that, you fucked us the first year and made us set a record for most losses by 3 points or less. Our first win, oddly enough, came from the quarterback I just named, CJ Beathard. Case in point. Like, I'm just saying, these are all misses in your first draft. And I get it, it's your first draft. So, yes, you want to make sure you look at it and go, you know what? I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that and figure out what I want to do. And like I said, some of these picks belong to Kyle. Some of them belong to John. Next pick, Joe Williams. Fail. Flower, hey, what's going on, Andy? How you doing, man? So, next pick, Joe Williams. Nothing. He ain't even playing no more. Now, we go all the way to round 5, and there's George Kittle. Now, Kittle is a star. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. He's the best all-around tight end in the league, period. There's nobody better than him. So, for John, for them, throughout this whole draft, out of all the people that they didn't pick, George is a star. That's one. And we already in the 5th round. That's all bad. I'm sorry. So, Trent Taylor, we can all agree had a little bit of flash, a little bit of flair, but And I think he's with the Bengals. I think, but nope. Technically, no, he's a free agent. But Trent Taylor, worth nothing. Sorry, did nothing. Now, round 6, you get DJ Jones. DJ Jones was a good pick. He was a stalwart. He was great on that defensive line. We love what he did for us. And DJ is now in Denver, hanging out with Mike McGlinchey, ex-teammate. So DJ Jones wasn't bad. He never became an all-out star, but DJ Jones was a good dude. I'll give him that much. He was a good dude. So we've got 2. Now, round 6, we picked Peter, and I'm not going to try to say his last name. He just became a special teams guy. There was nothing about this dude that screamed starter. Round 7, Adrian Colbert. Colbert had a small little moment where we thought he was going to be somebody. Now, nothing. Last I saw, he was a Seahawk, and I'm not saying recently, but I'm saying the last team that I saw him play for was Seattle. And as of right now, he ain't even in the league no more. He's a free agent. So you had 7 picks, and only 2 worked out. So first draft, 2017, that was ugly. That was ugly. What's going on, Brian? You got to be better at that, man. Like, to have 2 picks. The only people that I named that worked out in 2017 was George Kittle and DJ Jones. And that's sad. And Kittle only worked out when he was going through a rotation of quarterbacks. Whenever he's had a steady quarterback, what's going on, Beto? It's just, I don't know, man. That first draft, I did 2 out of that. I don't know about that one. So we're gonna move into 2018. So let's take a look. First pick, Mike McGlinchey. So here's the thing. McGlinchey is a fantastic run blocker and a subpar pass blocker. Did his pass blocking improve this season? Yes. Mike McGlinchey currently is, as I previously stated, in Denver. He got that money. Congrats to you, Mike. You got paid. It is what it is. It's really hard to find the right tackle. We are currently replacing Mike McGlinchey with a draft pick, not to be named at this moment. We'll get to him. So, McGlinchey, he probably about a B plus, maybe a B minus, only because his pass blocking was ass. But you know, he did all right. I'm not gonna say that McGlinchey was hot garbage, but he did all right. I'll give him that much. So, good job on that pick. Next pick. Oh, good Lord. The kitty cat himself, Mr. Dante fucking Pettis. Oh, another guy. A lot of talent. Lots of talent. Just, he didn't have it up there. He didn't have it up there. The mental makeup was not there. And it's weird that it wasn't because his father was a fantastic baseball player. And he's been around sports all his life. He's been in locker rooms. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was sheltered, whatever. At the end of the day, Dante Pettis, I believe he is either a Giant or a Bear. I think he's a Bear. I don't fucking know. Don't care, but I'm going to say Dante Pettis is a fail because nothing ever came to fruition for the young man. So your first pick in the 2018 draft was great. Your second pick was worthless because he's a chump. Now we get to the man, the myth, the legend, all-pro motherfucking Fred. Picked him up, and now he is the man. He is the Mike linebacker for this team. So that was a smash. I'll give that an A+. That was a smash. You didn't know that All-Pro Fred was going to be All-Pro Fred because he didn't have a ton of hype coming out of college, but he is All-Pro Fred. You got to respect that much. Next guy, Tarvarius Moore. I'm going to call that a wasted pick. Never came to fruition. You never done nothing. There's been, yeah. So right now you hit on 2, you failed on 2. Kentavious Street, wasted pick, never panned out, spent most of his time injured, and that's just that. So that's 5 picks, and we only got 2 hits right now. DJ Reed. Thought he might be something, but he wasn't. So, another pick, another fail. So, you remember that first draft, Lynch and Kyle only hit on 2. Right now, they only hitting on 2. And I don't think anyone can dispute what I'm saying. Let's take a look. Next up, we got Marcel Harris. Another fail. He was supposed to be a safety. They wound up converting him to linebacker and nothing. That's another fail. Then we got Julian Taylor. Another fail. And we got Richie James Jr. Another fail. So, in 2018 and 2019, John Lynch literally had 2 picks in each of those drafts that were actual hits and not misses. And from his first draft, the only person that still exists as far as on this team is George Kittle. Everyone else from the 2017 draft is gone. And then with the 2018 draft, hold on one second. I'm sorry about that. Give me just a minute. Close that out. So, out of this draft right now, The only people on our team are the people that I stated were stars. Well, actually, I take that back. The only person left that's actually still on the squad is All-Pro Fred. So from your first 2 drafts, you only hit on 2 players in each of those drafts, and only one of those 2 players that you hit on in the first 2 years is still even here. But Glitchy got paid. We wasn't gonna pay that man. We knew he was gonna price himself out. He's a right tackle, coveted or not, it is what it is. I understood it. Mike, you got your money. I'm happy for you, baby. I don't knock nobody for their hustle or how they get their bread. Just hey, you did your thing. You did enough to get paid. I'm not mad at it. So he only got 2 hits again. And that's just literally All-Pro Fred and Mike McGlinchey. That's literally it. And that's all. So the first 2 drafts, not looking good. But we are moving forward to 2019. Hey, what's going on, Melissa? 2019. This is the draft where I had my little moment. My most watched video on my channel, still over 1,000 views with the old didn't care too much for Mr. Bosa at the time because there were things that he was doing that no one was talking about. And I said it before, I'll say it again. On my channel, I say what I want, how I want. I love how white players get a pass, but black players are maligned every chance you get. These are just facts. And if you want to know what Bosa was doing at that present time, go back to 2019 and look it up. Not going to recap on that. It is what it is. The man has been doing, good work for us since then. So that's an automatic hit. Bosa, he done balled out. Next pick, boom, automatic, boom. That's a pick. Great. And then we go into the 3rd round. What's going on, Joey? I still get recognition. Joey, you ain't shit. All right. The next pick. Yes. Melissa knows. You already knew it. The wasted pick of all wasted picks, Jalen fucking Hurd. Broke back Hurd. This dude gave everybody the flash of their lifetime for every Niner fan, me included, for that hot second. Like, yo, did you see what he did in the preseason in the Cowboy game? And he hurt his back, and that motherfucker never saw the field but from the sidelines. They decided to hang on him for several years, and it just didn't make fucking sense. And now he's nowhere to be found. That was a fail. Next up, we draft Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter, the Aussie from the land down under. Love it. Great pick. McGlinchey is still, Wishnowsky is still here. And I love that. That was actually a good pick. I know a lot of people tripped out because we drafted a guy in the 4th round that was a punter, but he's here. He's still punting the ball. Love him. Good dude. Congrats to him and his family. The next one on the list is Dre Greenlaw, another guy still here. So you literally have one fail here. And that one fail right now is Jalen Hurd. Everybody else in this 2019 draft so far has been fantastic. We go to round 6, Caden Smith. Fail. We stay in round 6, Justice School. Fail. We go to round 6 again, Tim Harris. Fail. And that's it. So out of, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 8 picks, you hit on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you were 50% in this draft. So as you can see, the first 2 years were fails. But the 3rd year, he had a 50% on his picks. And they are those guys that I'm saying he hit on are still here. Greenlaw's here. So is Bosa. He's going nowhere. So is Debo, he ain't going nowhere, and so is Mitch Wish. So 2019, John Lynch must have seemed to figure it out. He got his head, he got his head right. He was like, all right, cool. And I do believe that was a couple of different things, man. But it all worked out for him, So 2019, he had a really good draft. He hit on 50% of his picks because the first two drafts he only hit on a small percent. I think like maybe 10 to 15% because he only hit on two, and that's basically it. And that's the sad part about it. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into 2020. Javon Kinlaw, fail, automatic. I'm not even gonna waste my time talking about it. Javon Kinlaw was a fail. We jumped into the first round to draft a receiver by the name of Brandon Ayuk. The word was we drafted Ayuk because we heard Green Bay was going to draft him, which I believe is a whole crock of shit. And that smoke blowing right up the 49ers' ass, and they fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Green Bay wasn't drafting Brandon Ayuk. We all know that. But Brandon Ayuk is not a fail. He's a win. So, your two first-round picks. Your first one was a fail. You drafted a guy who had knee issues. He still got knee issues. Of course, you heard John Lynch talk about him and all of the great things that he's doing and how good he looked. I don't give a flying fuck. Till Kinlaw get on the field and start sacking the goddamn quarterback the way he's supposed to, you're a fail. You failed. I'm sorry. And I don't care. He can find my stream and call me a bitch all he. I don't give a fuck. You ain't out there on the field producing. It's, something that we like to do as far as 49er content creators to judge and grade just like the media does. It's the same situation, bro. You got to get out there on the field and produce. Otherwise, we won't have – other than that, we have a reason to say the things that we say. Give us a reason not to. But I'm sorry, I don't believe that that's going to happen. I believe Kinlaw is a fail, and he's never going to work out. Now, the guy that I was talking about that's going to replace Mike McGlinchey at right tackle is the guy that was drafted right after Brandon Ayuk in the 2020 draft, and that's Colton McKivitz. We are starting him at right tackle. We're going to see what he has to offer and hope and pray that works out for us. So he didn't necessarily pan out. He became more of a guy that was just a depth piece. He never really played like that. He's played a few games, but nothing too crazy. So we don't really know what Colton McKivitz is because he's never really been out there. So this one, I don't know. I can't say fail because I don't know anything. He just never wound up fighting his way into a starting spot. So, I'd have to give him like a C- on this one because we don't know, and we don't know what he's going to do at right tackle. It remains to be seen. So, next guy up on the list is Charlie Warner. Warner's a good blocker, and he's an okay pass catcher, but I'm going to have to give him a fail for this one because, there's never been any two tight end sets that contain him. He's never done anything that says I'm the guy. So he's here. But the cool thing is I went through all of these guys and they're all still here. The next guy on the list, excuse me. Next guy on the list is Juwan motherfucking Jennings, a.k.a. Third and Juwan. Love this dude. Great pickup. He's great on third down. He is great in the red zone. He is our new Kendrick Bourne. And I like Juwan, man, and I'm glad we got him signed. He signed his 1-year tender already, so hopefully he can, do some good things for us, man. I like it. I like it so far. So we've got, the next guy up on, and that's basically it, man. That's all we really had in 2020 was just those guys. After that, it was just, a smaller sample size of dudes. They moved around and did some trades and a couple other things, but I'm not going to get into all that. This is just basically, about the guys that we wanted to see. So in 2020, they hit on pretty much everything except for Colton McKivitz and Charlie Warner. Because once again, Warner, I know he's a great blocking tight end, but Colton McKivitz, I don't know what he is. And I don't know what he's going to be at right tackle. I do know at West Virginia he was a very versatile offensive lineman. He played the left. He played left tackle. He played guard, both positions. So, and I think he played even the little right tackle. So he may be able to work out there, but we'll see. We shall see. So 2021 comes along. And the first pick we have, we went ahead and made that big jump, that leap. And I remember this because I jumped on live like everybody else. I knew we were going to get a quarterback. We drafted the QB of the future, Trey Lance. Trey Lance is still a question mark, and he's got this year to be able to prove himself. I hope that he takes over OTAs, and I hope that he works out well, and I hope that he gets at least 8 games to prove himself, just as Brock Purdy did. And I hope that in those 8 games, he shits on everyone and shuts everybody the fuck up. Because you got a lot of people out there that commentate on him and talk about him as if he's a bust and he can't do anything. Well, we don't even know what the kid is. He hasn't been on the field long enough for us to truthfully make an assumption. It's the same thing with Colt McKivitz. I don't know because I haven't seen enough of him playing to say that he's not that guy. Now, certain people, I know a lot of people will look at that and go, well, then how could you pass judgment on Jalen Hurts? The reason I can pass judgment on Jalen Hurts is because he couldn't even get on the goddamn field. There's a difference. So a lot of people say the first year of Trey Lance's career, oh, well, he couldn't beat out Jimmy. No, the plan all along, Kyle said this shit from like way, way back early in the year was, hey, we drafted Trey, but we're starting Jimmy. This was a foregone conclusion. They had that in their heads. It wasn't about, oh, we'll go into camp behind the scenes and see if he can beat him out. It was, this is the plan. We're sticking with it. Here's what it is. So, but for me, we got the opportunity. So Trey Lance, we'll have to give him a question mark at the time because we just don't know enough. So we're going to leave that alone. Next guy up, Aaron Banks. Initially, I thought dude was, it was curious to me because he couldn't get on the field, but they developed him. They gave him that first year. They redshirted him. I did not like where he was drafted because I wanted to draft Asante Samuel Jr. Foregone conclusion, he's on the Chargers. He's doing his thing. Congrats to him. Congrats to Pops. Definitely runs in the bloodline. And if Junior has a kid, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to continue. So, with that being said, Aaron Banks, he's a good dude. Great at our left guard spot. He does fantastic, and I think that, he's going to continue to be great. I mean, you line it up next to the best left tackle in the game, so it's only going to make you look better, even if you don't look that great or if you're not doing certain things. He still takes a lot of the heat and pressure off of you because of who he is. But I'm not going to discount what Aaron Banks did. He's been doing very well for us, and I can say I appreciate him. So as far as Aaron Banks goes, that's another hit. Did a good job. We'll give Aaron Banks probably a B minus. I'll give him that much. Next guy, Trey Sermon, wasted pick. Never panned out, never got on the field. I don't even think they believed in him from day one when they drafted him. Trey Sermon is currently not with anybody. He was with the Eagles for a bit, but that's it. So, Trey Sermon, unfortunately, that was a no-go. Ambry Thomas. Ambry Thomas gave us a lot of hope toward the end of his first year because he wasn't around. Then when they did put him in, his games literally went on an upward trajectory just like that. He started right here at the bottom, and it just do, and jumped all the way up. What's going on, Val? Jumped all the way up, and the craziest shit about it is that we looked at that and we're like, whoa, that's great. This guy literally was starting. He looked like shit, and then he went to looking great. He disappeared after that. Ambry Thomas was nowhere to be found, couldn't get on the field. It kind of is what it is. So Ambry right now is unfortunately a question mark. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him probably about a C minus for that. But, it just, you don't know. Next guy up on the list, Jalen Moore. Another guy is a question mark. I don't know what he is because he's never been on the field, not being able to prove anything. But I can tell you right now, obviously he ain't much because they literally don't believe in him. So if you look at the way the line is presently constructed, we have 4 starters. We're just looking for the 5th at the right tackle spot. Jalen Moore wasn't even mentioned. They re-signed Colton McKivitz before they thought of putting Jalen Moore out there at right tackle. So that tells you what they think of Jalen Moore. So obviously from the coaching staff, this was a failed experiment, and he's probably not even going to make the team. And there's nothing against him. Once again, I don't know him, but it just doesn't look good. It just does not look good. So next guy we picked, Amador Lenore. Now, Lenore was the polar opposite of Ambry Thomas in his first year. He looked all right in the beginning, wound up having some personal issues, couldn't get things together in that first year, but he wrapped him around the next year and became the man. And now he's our starter opposite of Mooney Ward. So Amador Lenore worked out. First year didn't look good. Second year looked better. And we're going to continue to keep rocking with Demo. This guy coming up here is the Tongan sensation, Talanoa Hufanga. Huff has balled out from day one, wound up stealing that starting spot and doing things that nobody thought he could do. The man is a safety hybrid linebacker / and he's just awesome. He's awesome all the way around. Love the hair. Love that he was trained by Troy Polamalu. He's mentored by the man. Love everything about the kid, man. Troy, I can't say enough good things about Huff. Of course, everybody has things to continually work on and continually get better. But Huff, that was a diamond in the rough, baby. I love that pick. So Huff is great. Next guy up, Elijah Mitchell. You love Mitchell, but you don't love his injuries. And I'm sorry, Mitchell's knees are Mr. fucking Glass. It's sad to see a dude with all that talent, but he can never stay healthy. And I think his rookie year was the first year that he actually went off. And he was doing it. He still missed some games and almost had 1,000 yards. So it tells you he's got the talent. He just can't stay on the field. So Mitchell, I'm going to give probably like a C-, maybe a D+, only because he just can't stay healthy, man. It's not the talent. He's got that. He just got to be able to stay on the damn field. It's that simple. So, next guy, that's it. Mitchell was our last pick in the 2021 NFL draft. So, Trey Lance is a question mark. So, that's one. So, we're good with Aaron Banks. You hit on that dude. Failed with Trey Sermon. Failed with Ambry Thomas so far. Failed with Jalen Moore. You hit with Demo, so that's 2. You hit with Huff, that's 3. And you sort of hit with Mitchell, so I'm going to give you like a 3.5, only because Mitchell can't stay on the field. This is why I love Joey, man. Joey always got the shit, bro. Joey always has, man, Joey be coming with these jokes, bro. But that's it, man. You hit on just a couple of your picks, and that's the part of it that's frustrating to us as Niner fans because we want to hit. We want everybody to hit. So, in the past year, 2022, first pick, Drake Jackson. I'm going to still reserve judgment on Jackson because I haven't seen him in like a full season. But from what I did see from him just this past year, love the kid. Love him. Just get your conditioning right so you can be on the field. I am in love with the idea of a defensive line that is Drake Jackson, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, and Nick Bosa. I love that. I feel like that right there is a solid defensive line. You have dudes on the edge that come screaming off that edge. So they're going to get to your quarterback a lot faster than you anticipated. So your bookend, your left and your right tackle are going to have a long fucking day. Then we have the push up the middle that's proper. The reason why Javon Hargrave was such a fantastic signing outside of being the top free agent on the market is the fact that we will see the return of Eric Armstead. Armstead works better inside when he has another hog that can push the pocket just like he does. If he doesn't have that additional help, he's great. He's good, but he's not great. When that additional help is there, he turns into great. When he had DJ Jones beside him, he looked really good. And Javon Kinlaw came in, and there was nothing going on. So that just tells you that defensive line is going to be solid. So Drake Jackson, I'll give him credit. We need to see a lot more, but we hit on that pick. Next guy, TDP. Jordan Mason came in and showed the do up. And Jordan Mason was an undrafted free agent. So he's just another question mark, man. I'm pretty sure he's probably not going to make the squad. And if they draft another goddamn running back, I'm going to pull my fucking hair out. I don't have much of it, as you can see. My hairline's already receding. But I am telling you right now, I'm going to pull all my hair out if they draft another goddamn running back. We don't need one. I'm tired of them drafting running backs. Kyle does better with undrafted free agents. He just does when it comes to running backs or somebody who's already established. The reason why Christian McCaffrey is here. The reason why we have Jordan Mason. The reason why Elijah Mitchell is still around. We just pray to God that somebody can put some fucking bionic knees in his ass and he'd be fine. Because that's the only problem that man ever has. So, TDP, sorry, I'm just going to call that a fail because there's nothing happening. Next guy up on the list, Danny Gray. I'm going to give Danny Gray an incomplete because he was obsolete. There was nobody who could throw him the ball like Trey Lance could throw him the ball, so he just was irrelevant. A lot of people say, well, you know, his blocking, his this, his that. At the end of the fucking day, period, point blank. If there was a quarterback on the roster who could throw bombs to Danny Gray, he would have been in the game, and he would have been in there in situational football. Now that Trey Lance is healthy, we hope and pray that he gets the same opportunities that Jimmy and Brock got and the same fucking playbook that Jimmy and Brock got, and you'll see some Danny Gray. And Danny Gray should be able to prove to be an awesome speedster. If anything, honestly, I would put Danny Gray back there at punt return and kick return. Why not? He has the speed. Make him do something. That's all I'm saying. So Danny Gray, he just gets an incomplete. Next guy up on the list, Spencer Burford. This dude was awesome. Came in and stole the right guard spot automatically. He wound up getting the right guard spot initially because Dan Brunskill was not ready for camp. And he wasn't ready for OTA, all that. So what happened? Burford came in, took that spot. They did rotate them toward the end of the season, but at the end of the day, that's Burford's spot. And Dan Brunskill is now gone up. I think he's in Tennessee or somewhere. I don't fucking know. But Brunskill's gone. So, honestly, hey, that was a hit. We hit on that one. So we did really good as far as Spencer Burford goes. Sam Womack. Once again, jury's still out on him. He's still here, but we don't know. We saw glimpses of greatness in preseason. We even saw it during the season with a couple of interceptions, but he's still got time to grow. We now have Steve Wilkes, who is basically like the DB safety whisperer. So I do believe that Wilkes is going to pull out of him more of what he already has and just fine-tune some things, and Womack can grow and bloom into a star. So Womack right now, I'm going to just kind of leave him as a question mark because we saw things we wanted to see, but we didn't get to see a full sample size enough to really give a proper assessment of who to do this. So I'll say Sam Womack gets a bit of an incomplete to an extent, but I do like the pick, and that's okay. Nick Zakel. Depth piece on the O-line. Ain't heard much about him. Don't know much about him. Just seems to be a depth piece. That's about it. Did nothing with that. He didn't turn into a starter. Nada. Next guy up. And this is going to stress me out because I hate that this has happened several times in the John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan era. It was Kalia Davis. You drafted Davis and you knew he was injured. So you redshirted him for a year. Now people supposed to believe that Kalia Davis is supposed to come off this redshirt year and just be the man. I'm not buying it until I see something. So Kalia Davis is an incomplete. I don't know what he is, and I honestly am pissed off that they did that because I don't like when you draft players that have a ridiculous injury history. You know they're going to be injured. So why would you draft someone who you know is possibly not going to be available for you? It just doesn't make sense. You could have took Kalia Davis as a UDFA, and it would have been smarter. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to draft a guy who's not going to be on the goddamn field. That's stupid. But it is what it is. Next guy on the list, Tariq Castro Fields. Ain't heard nothing from him. Don't know much about him. At this point, it is what it is. He's just I don't know. I have no idea. And then, of course, last pick in the draft, Brock Purdy. Jim, you found yourself a gem in the 7th round. Now, he's a gem because of what he did last year. Question is, can he do it again? Got the UCL ripped to shreds by Hassan Reddick. Surgery was done. Surgery was successful. You get standing ovations at baseball games and shit. And, hey, I am not mad. Continue your hustle. Just be leery of the fact that you got a man that was drafted number 3 overall initially to have your spot. So you do have to be mindful of that, and you must be ready to understand that the Stew's not going to give up that spot lightly. And if he gets the same playbook that you and Jimmy had, your days as our quarterback are gone. Because he's going to blow up. He's going to do some shit that motherfuckers couldn't even. Thank you. I appreciate it, Beto. He's going to do some shit that you can't do. It's just it. Nothing against Brock. Love his mobility. Love what he did for the team. Love the energy that he put into us. Love the focus that he brought to the huddle. Love the way the players talk about him. All of that. But at the end of the day, teams are going to go and figure out what that number 1 pick has. This is why Javon Kinlaw is still here, people. Think about it like this. Kinlaw probably should have been gone. But Kinlaw is here. And you know why he's here? Because he's a first-round pick, and even if we cut him, we're still going to have to pay him that money, so you might as well keep him. So he'll be around for this year. He'll be a rotational depth piece on the line. I do not believe that we pick up Kinlaw's 5th-year option. I do believe that we pick up Brandon Ayuk's 5th-year option. And that's just that. So I personally, looking at this last draft, man, I mean, you got to think about it. So looking last year, you hit on 1, 2, 3. You hit on 3 picks. Like the ratio of how many people you've drafted versus how many people are actually playing and winning and still on. It don't look good, man. It just don't look good. And, I know that, I don't know from a personal standpoint. I'm just saying from looking on the outside in, I'm sure being a GM is a very hard job. Sure picking these players is a very hard job. Sure being a scout is a ridiculous job because you got to go any and everywhere and watch all these people and try to make assessments and figure out who you feel fits your system. There's so much work that goes into this. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you that you sucked in certain spots. Your first 2 years were trash. You had 2 players that hit in the first 2 years, and you drafted at least 6 to 7 people. So it's ridiculous that, we're always hitting and missing, and we seem to be hitting more in the later rounds and missing in the earlier rounds, and that's not good. So that tells me whenever we do get a first-round pick again, we might as well trade that motherfucker because we never do anything good with him outside of Mike McGlinchey. Just keeping it a buck. Mike McGlinchey and Nick Bosa. So this year is the year that we hopefully get to see what Lance can do and figure it out. Melissa asks, Dion, why do you think the perpetual Hurd, Ford, and dead legs got team support? I don't know. I really don't. And it kills me because here's the thing. Hurd was never on the field. Ever. He was never able to get on the field. That was it. So I don't think he got any real support from the team. I think that was just more so Kyle trying to hold on to him, hoping and praying that he was going to magically heal and be a great wide receiver for him. Shit didn't pan out. So that was just, I don't know. He was a waste of space, a waste of a roster spot. I have no idea why he was still here. As far as D Ford, the only reason D Ford probably got any kind of slack from this organization was because they were stupid enough to pay him, absorbing an amount of money, and was still paying this motherfucker to do not a goddamn thing. He wouldn't do us a solid and retire because he knew he was going to miss out on bread. Now, I don't knock him for that because you got to get your paper however you can get it. But at the end of the day, D Ford was a 1-year rental. And we paid an absorbent amount of money for a 1-year rental. That's like buying a Ferrari and you drive that motherfucker for about a year, and next thing you know, it just breaks the fuck down. And you're not driving it every day to go to the grocery store and shit like that. It's a Sunday type of car. It's like you only bring this bitch out once in a while. The next thing you know, you sitting up there looking and like, why the fuck this thing don't work? Now I got to take it to Ferrari. You know how much that costs to fix that fucking that goddamn car? It already cost you an arm and a leg to buy. Fixing it is going to be ridiculous. So I don't understand what's going on. My man is in the biz. Silverado motherfucking Kev. Hey man, I need everybody in the chat to give Silverado Kev a shout out. Silverado, I want to say this to you personally, from me to you, brother. You are a fantastic father. And I'm proud of the young black man that you have raised. And I am proud of him for graduating boot camp. And I hope that he goes on to do fantastic things for his time in the military. And if he decides to make it a career, great. If not, that's all right too. The benefits and the perks of being in the military, even when you leave, are still there. But fantastic work as a man, as a black man out there raising another black man. I got two young black men of my own that I'm raising, but I appreciate you, Kev, for seeing the guidance and the strength and everything that you put into your son. He has turned out to be a fantastic human being. He's going to be a great man just like his father. I appreciate you, Kev. I really do, man. Thank you for being out there doing, what you do. And like I said, everybody in the chat, man, give Kev a shout out, man. His son went through boot camp, knocked it out like a champ. And now he out here doing his thing. So shouts out to you, Kev. Shout out to you. But this year is going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to be fantastic. But it's going to be a lot of the same dumb questions and a lot of the same dumb answers. It's going to be who's the quarterback, when's Lance, how's Lance look? Is Trey ready to take over the team? Is Brock ready to get back out there? We know he's going to throw in this amount of time, all kinds of things, okay? So they say Brock's got 12 weeks to throw. That's 3 months. Me personally, I don't believe he's going to be ready for week 1. I do believe that, they got to do what they got to do. Trey Lance being inquired about by other teams. So they looked at the 49ers situation, said to themselves, we've got a guy who's been sitting here being groomed by Kyle Shanahan, learning his complex system, understanding the nuances of that. So whatever I teach him, it's going to be easier. Because there's a bunch of people around the league who basically came from this coaching tree, and they're running a similar system. So if you put Trey Lance with any of those previous guys that are on Kyle's staff, he's going to flourish. Why? He already knows what the fuck you're doing. You don't have to teach him shit. You just got to let him go out there and fucking execute. Here's the thing. Our head coach has to let him go out there and execute because he's still here. He's still a current member of this team. So let him go out there and execute the same fucking playbook that you gave Jimmy and you gave Brock, because if anybody with eyeballs in their head and a brain in their head could see that there were 2 separate playbooks for Jimmy, Brock, and Trey Lance. Jimmy and Brock got the same one. Trey Lance got a whole nother one because we were heavy on the run when Trey Lance was in there. But magically, the minute we get Jimmy in, we throw the ball. Magically, the time Brock gets in, he throws the fucking ball. Why don't we throw the ball with Trey Lance? You think that he can't do the shit that they do? I think he can, and I think he can do it better. And you did see Trey Lance working with, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, a.k.a. Patrick Mahomes, in the offseason. His throwing motion looked like it's been a little bit short. He's done things to improve himself. He's ready for the competition. He wants the competition. The other thing, look, man, I need people to stop the Sam Darnold shit. I need you to knock it all the way the fuck off. I done told y'all a million times, and you can look up the history. USC quarterbacks suck in the NFL. The last quarterback that did anything in the NFL from USC was Carson fucking Palmer. And he wasn't even great because he could barely even win a fucking playoff game. He spent all them years in Cincinnati and didn't do shit. To be honest with you, the best SC quarterback in recent fucking history is Mr. Butt Fumble himself, Mark Sanchez. And you know why? Because Mark Sanchez went to back-to-back AFC championship games his rookie year and his sophomore year in the league. Now, mind you, I believe that it was because he was riding the Jets defense. Either way, he was a part of the team. He was the quarterback, just like everybody gave Jimmy credit for all them games that he was in. You might as well give Sanchez the credit too. He's the best USC quarterback to come out in recent memory. I'm sorry. Only guy to win some playoff games. Only guy to go to a championship game. Not Super Bowl AFC championship, but hey. Since Mark Sanchez left, the Jets ain't sniffed the AFC championship game. And now they got Aaron fucking Rodgers and no one gives two shits because he ain't gonna do nothing but go over there, do a bunch of ayahuasca and try to find his third eye, left leg, and fourth arm and shit. No one gives a fuck. At the end of the day, it's very simple. You come up against us, Aaron, we're gonna kill you. You're gonna lose like you always do. So if we meet you in the Super Bowl, that'd be even sweeter. Go ahead, take the Jets to the Super Bowl because they ain't been to one since Joe Namath. Keeping it a buck. Joe called it. He did his thing. But you know where Joe came from? Alabama. Which shoots NFL stars out into the fucking league on a consistent basis. But that's basically what it is, man. So Silverado Kev says, if we don't trade up, where's the first position we draft? Brock may be on the PUP list, bro. No need to rush that, and trade deserves a shot. I agree with you fully and wholeheartedly on that. What I will say is, for me, when I'm looking at it, the first position that we probably should draft would be, honestly, safety. I would say that because we know Gipp is only here for a year. Let's find that guy of the future and draft him. And right after we draft a safety, we need another linebacker. Because I can tell you right now, I have no faith that Oren Burks is going to be a great linebacker outside of, Fred and Dre. And I don't know what Marcelino McCrary Ball is because he never got on the field. So, sorry. Oren Burks is a special teams guy. He's not an every down linebacker. He's just not that dude. I don't believe in him that way. I didn't see anything to prove otherwise to me. But I would say our first two picks should be safety and linebacker. Now, I haven't followed the draft a lot. I don't know who the top prospects are. So, please don't ask me who I would like to draft at either position because I truthfully have not paid a lot of attention. These last few months for me have just been work, grind. So my head has not necessarily been on football. But what I can tell you is I believe those are the two positions that we should definitely draft. Safety and linebacker. Somebody to replace Aziz, somebody to replace Gipp because Gipp's going to leave after this year. That's my thing. Is we need somebody who's going to be able to do that. And Melissa says, I can't stand Rodgers. All I get is Craig Carton, all the Jets crazies. Fuck them. Thinks Aaron Sweets. But Aaron ain't about to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, Aaron in for a rude awakening. That AFC is different. And I'm going to tell you, the difference is, see, in Green Bay, you had it easy. You are in New York. These people in New York don't play, bro. Especially Jets fan. Gang Green is deep. I respect them because they don't play. But I can tell you this. Don't go out there thinking them reporters are soft. They will get off in your motherfucking ass in a hot second. Rip you a new one and make you like it. They gonna look and just, you might have a reporter look at you and go, you might want to go do some more ayahuasca and figure this shit out. but you better get us some wins, and it better be a Lombardi in the case. Because he's a rental. Aaron Rodgers is there for what, this year, next year? So I don't know how much Zach Wilson is going to actually learn from him. We'll see if Jordan Love actually learned anything from him, because he's automatically the starter in Green Bay. But we don't know. We'll see. Here we go. Ramelia Sports Report in the house. What's going on, Rudy? Definitely got to collab with this guy before the season, because his Rams are trash. They've been trash. Though they have a nice little recent Super Bowl, that's cute, but they fell so far flat last year. They just dropped down into nothing, and they're still going to be nothing this year. Trade away Allen Robinson, and now you're down to Tyler Higbee, Cooper Kupp, and fucking Matthew Stafford. And Stafford ain't going to be shit. You had to beg Sean McVay. Anyway, I'm not going to go on a diatribe about that. But you said Steve-O Supremo. Yeah, man. But Kev says my only pushback with the safety is I think you'd want to draft a guy with your first pick that could probably start. Okay. That's a good pushback. I can understand that. I can. Good question. I'll tell you this. D-Hop could be a cap casualty, so I think he'll go first because of how much money they're paying him. He's making way more than Buddha. But I can tell you right now, if either one of them get dealt, it should be on draft day to be able to bolster, things for the Cardinals, because they're going to suck ass this year too. You got a brand new defensive-minded head coach who comes in, and typically, if anybody, people who watch football, which everybody in the chat does, when a new head coach comes in, they like to get their type of guy. But the issue is this coach has to deal with Kyler Murray. They already paid him before they kicked Cliff Kingsbury to the fucking curb. So now you're stuck with him. So that's my guy Chris Hansen in the building, man. What's going on, Chris? And Chris, if you are on Twitter, man, get at me, man. I got something for you, man. Chris is my guy. So it's very simple for me. I did this just to show y'all kind of how it works with the draft, man. It's a little crazy, and you don't always hit on the guys. The shitty part about it is when you just don't hit at all. The first two drafts, yeah, you didn't hit at all. The last couple of drafts, you've been doing better. Number one thing I don't want to see in this draft, I don't want to see us draft another redshirt player. And I would love for all of these guys potentially to have some type of role on the team, whether it be special teams, whether it be, you don't have social media. All right, I'm going to do this for you, Chris. Give me a sec, bro. All right, that's my email. Hit me up and shoot me your info, man. I got you. Just do that for me, Chris, because I can at least work with it that way. If you don't really have social media like that, I completely understand. Not everybody's on it. Hell, I get it, man. Social media can be dark, demeaning, and horrible, and people are fucking really crazy on there, man. Plus, Twitter is a war zone, but I like Twitter because it makes me laugh. So this draft this year, hopefully we focus on making sure that we're filling, the spots with depth that we need. And we're trying to draft people who can make impact for us on an immediate basis. And we don't go after guys who just are riddled with injury. I will be doing a draft recap as it pertains to that stuff. Of course, Chris, I got you, man. I will be doing a draft recap for this specific situation, because to me, it's just for this year, because I always do one. But for me, it's just really, really hard because we have to figure out what we're going to do. We already have to deal with all the quarterback questions, which to me, there is no quarterback question. It's very simple. Give Trey Lance 8 games, just like you gave Brock Purdy. See what you have in him. If you feel comfortable with it, you like what you've seen, stick with Trey. If you don't, Brock will be more than healthy by then. But you must give Trey Lance a chance, not just from if for any reason, just because of all that you gave up to get him. I'll tell you this, if the 49ers go into this season and they start Brock Purdy and tell Trey Lance to sit on the bench, it's the dumbest mistake they'll ever make. Because if you just didn't believe in Trey Lance and you felt that Sam Darnold could hold down the fort, why not trade him? Why not take those actual phone calls and say, well, what are you willing to give us? You're never going to get the haul you gave up to get him because he doesn't have enough experience and he hasn't done enough for him to warrant that type of trade. But you can get something. As of right now, to be honest with you, Trey Lance's trade value is probably maybe a fourth or a third, maybe. And I'm stretching with the third. And I'm only saying that because I'm not being disrespectful to Trey. I'm just telling you with the little minuscule resume that he has, that's what teams are going to say. We see there's a lot of potential, but we just don't know. So if I'm going to take a flyer on a guy that I don't know anything about, I'm not giving you a first or a second. I'm going to give you a third at a max. And if you want a couple of picks, I might throw in like a third and 2 fifths, a third and 2 sixths, something. I'm just not going to give you what you gave up. And I'm not giving you a first-round pick for a guy. I just unfortunately don't have enough information and enough tape and data for me to be able to analyze to say if he's really worthy of such or not. I do believe in Trey. I want him to stay here. I want him to be the quarterback. I would love for him to have that full opportunity to play a full season and take us where we need to go. But, you know, it's – yeah, of course. Oh, my God. Yeah, we definitely keep Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, BAs, they're picking up his fifth-year option. They'll decline Kinlaw's, but they'll pick up BAs. Yeah, definitely so. The one thing I will say is, yeah, Kyle never plays. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck his problem is, but Kyle's a very egotistical kind of dude, and it just bothers me. But it is what it is. So I'll say this. This year, if we don't win a Super Bowl this year, I'm done with Kyle. Here's why. I don't want Kyle to turn into Andy Reid in Philly, where you're competitive year in and year out, but you just can never get it done. Because that was Andy Reid in Philly. Him and Donovan McNabb were a fucking perfect marriage. They got to one Super Bowl. Came up short. And what was the talk about Andy Reid while he was in Philly? Great head coach. Does a lot of great things. But he can't win the big one. He went over to Kansas City. Alex Smith. Next thing you know, Patrick Mahomes. Now, he got 2 Lombardis. Would I want that to happen with Kyle? No, I would love for him to win 2 Lombardis here. It's been 6 years, and we don't have anything. I got 3 NFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance, and nothing to show for it. Yes, this year the circumstances were different. We just didn't have a fucking quarterback. But either way, I cannot continue to be competitive year in and year out and not have a Lombardi in the fucking case. And to be honest with you, no other head coach would have gotten a 6-year extension before bringing a Super Bowl to the franchise. That to me just blows my mind. I don't know how you gave this man an extension and he ain't even brought you to the ultimate goal. You've been here all this time. He's the greatest offensive mind in the game, and so many people are doing spin on all of the thing, everything. His father, all the shit. At the end of the day, Kyle, I need you to bring a Super Bowl to the Niners, to Santa Clara, to San Francisco, to the Bay Area. You need to bring us a Super Bowl. Because the Warriors have brought the Bay Area several championships. So they're comfortable. They're good. Nobody's bothered about them. But I can tell you right now, as far as football goes, We the only team left in the Bay. The Raiders went to Las Vegas. So we have to rep. And we got to rep the right way. I need fucking Lombardi. I don't want anything less than that. So whatever you got to do, figure it out. But we can no longer sit here and just say, oh, I'm cool with being competitive year in and year out. That's okay. You know what I like? You know how I like to be competitive? When the Patriots had Tom Brady still. You know why? They had some gaps in between their Super Bowls, but they won 6 of the motherfuckers. That's the competitive you want to be. I know there may be a couple years here and there where I may or may not go, I may not win the big dance. But in almost 20 years, you got 6 rings. That's a damn good thing because it's really hard to win a Super Bowl. But I'm tired of being competitive. Now, everybody will ask, who do you want as the next head coach? I'll do some research. I'll figure it out. Off the top of my dome, I can honestly tell you, I'd love for Eric Bieniemy to be here. He got up from under Andy Reid because that was his only choice. But I'll say this, man. You've got this year to show me something, Kyle. Because if you don't get me a fucking Lombardi, I'm done. I don't want to see Kyle anymore. I don't want to see that dumbass grin when he loses. I don't want to hear all of the fucking bullshit about how, we could be dead tomorrow. I don't want to hear none of that. I need you to bring me a Lombardi, and I need you to do it ASAP. Because we've been waiting. It's been 6 fucking years, and I still don't see one. I'm tired. I'm tired of just being competitive. I don't give a fuck about that. Fuck competitive. Give me a Super Bowl win ASAP. But thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out with your boy. I know it's been a minute. I will do a draft recap. If I have any time to go live during the draft, I will. If not, I may see if I can hop on with someone else who is doing it. But I'm going to get out of here, spend some time with my wife. And everybody have a good night. Stay blessed. Stay faithful. Chris, hit me up, in the email, and I will guarantee you I will take good care of you, my guy. I will shoot you something to make sure I figure out how to do things. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Everyone stay faithful, stay blessed. Have a wonderful evening. And I'm out this joint. Peace.